Hello and welcome, my name's Hayley and this is Divinity Tarot, and we're going to do another pick a pile style reading from your deceased loved pet that has crossed over. It could have been they crossed over when you were a child, any time throughout your life, or even very recently. And you know, they don't leave. They don't leave you just because it's been a long time, or even if you've forgotten them. Like, I recently had one of my childhood pets, Joey, who was a pet magpie we had growing up, which is one of the corvid birds like a crow. And in New Zealand, you used to be able to buy them as hatchlings from the pet store. And if you got them when they'd just hatched and you hand reared them, you could teach them to talk. And Joey used to talk a few little words here and there, and he would wolf whistle whenever I came home, whenever I walked in the gate. And I was at work the other night and I heard this wolf whistle, and it was so distinctly his voice, and it was on the astral. And I was like, my God, that was Joey. And then I remembered, you know, a month ago, the night that my beautiful Wolfie passed away, and I felt so lonely and so down and still in shock that night, obviously. And I went for a walk all by myself, and it was in the evening, and we went down this area where me and Wolfie used to go, and there was this one lone magpie sitting on a street light, and it sang the most mournful lament, like a funeral song, that I'd ever heard in my life. And it was like he was mourning Wolfie, mourning one of his own. And it wasn't until I heard Joey on the astral that I remembered Joey, and it was like, oh my God, that was the spirit of Joey coming through on the night that Wolfie died, to help me mourn. And, you know, to send me love and possibly to help Wolfie to cross over. Because, you know, it felt like this bird was mourning one of his own, because he was. We are all family and we'll all be together again one day. So, today I've got something different. I've got these little mushrooms that I had that were an old decoration or something. And yeah, so we had the first pile is the red mushroom, the second pile is the green mushroom, and the third pile is the blue mushroom. So we will use the Soul's Journey Lesson cards by James Van Praagh. You know, a nice little sign that Wolfie's been leaving me the last couple of days. Alaskan Malamutes, they shed twice a year. They do the big undercoat blowout twice a year. So not the top fur, but the stuff that was underneath that one. And, you know, so her top coat was black and white, but her underneath coat was grey, a grey downy colour. And she would shed that twice a year. Well, because she had cancer and she was very, very, very sick, she never shedded properly this season. They usually shed in February, but she didn't really shed properly in February, which was a sign that something was really wrong. And when I go for walks now, in our usual regular walk, I've been finding these tiny little feathers, little downy feathers, you know, the little downy feathers, and they're grey, the same colour as what her undercoat was. And I remember when I first found them, because they're strategically positioned in the places where she used to stop and pee, or places of significance where she used to go. They're not anywhere else. They're strategically positioned, these little downy angel feathers. And when I first found them, I was like, Oh my God, she's shedding in heaven. She's showing me, look mummy, I'm shedding my angel feathers in heaven. Because they're the same colour as her undercoat. And yeah, I found a lot more today in the precise locations where she used to stop and sniff or stop and pee, or there was even one in her regular place where she would always stop and do her business right before the mechanics on the corner in the house just before. She would always stop there and do her business, and I'd have to stop and get it in the little doggy bag. Right in that exact place was one little grey downy feather. And I thought, oh my God, that's really cute. So yeah, that's one of the signs I've been getting. So the other cards we're going to use is Messages from Heaven Oracle. So I'll give these a quick shuffle. And we have the Angel's Whisper cards. Whoop, just had one go on the floor. Yeah, so when you're looking for signs from your loved one, like, you know, you've got to really look for them and be open to receiving them. And when you do receive them, acknowledge them. If you don't acknowledge them, if you ignore them and you just walk past them and you go, oh wow, that's something else. That was just a bird molting. That was just, you know, even though it's the wrong time of year for young birds to be molting and all that sort of thing. You know, you could say that and then they'll send less signs. The more you acknowledge it and the more you say thank you, the more signs that they will actually send. And they try to be creative. They try to be creative about, you know, what's relevant to you and them. Just as every animal had a different personality when they were here on Earth, their signs will be different and unique to them as well. So, you know, your friend might have got cardinals or butterflies or dragonflies or 1111s, or, you know, whereas you get something completely different. Your slipper keeps being left out, or you know, you keep hearing this little noise or something, or it could be a dream, or, you know, everyone's signs are different, so don't try to compare yourself to others. You know, Wolfie doesn't typically give me those regular everyday signs, those butterflies and dragonflies and birds and stuff, probably because she knows I am psychic and that I can handle more in-depth signs, but it's different for everyone. So we're going to use the Light Seers Tarot deck here. And these are the cards that I have written out, inspired by my journey of grief and connecting with Wolfie on the other side. Oh, I didn't do that very well, did I? Let's try that again. Okay, so we'll go with this end first of all. So if you picked the blue top fly agaric mushroom, then let's go with that one. So We have success. I know that there is no greater goal than to love. Yeah, stop thinking of this as a fail or a loss. They're telling you, your pet is telling you, you need to get out of that victim mentality that this happened to you, and you need to switch it up to understand that this happened for you. Anything that was done in love is never a loss. You need to have gratitude for the time that you did share together and the love that you did share together, because that is the most valuable thing that you can ever have in this world, is love. It raises your vibration. It keeps you healthy, not just spiritually, but mentally and physically. It keeps your physical vessel healthy to live in that vibration of love. So whenever you want to raise your vibration, if you're going into meditation or if you want to do a tarot reading or anything like that, just remember your pet and the love that you had for one another. Open your heart space, your heart chakra, and feel that love emanating from you and towards you. Remember it. It's a valuable gift and it never dies. The love that you shared together will never ever die. Don't worry, I know how much you love me. So again, this could be one of you out there or a group of you that are worried that you didn't get to tell them that you loved them. You know, you can still talk to them every day now and they will hear you. They're not gone. They can hear everything that you say now. And they know how much you love them. They can feel your feelings, they can see your thoughts, and they can hear you. Trust me, they know how much you love them. You didn't miss out on anything. If you didn't get to be there when they took their last breath, they know that you love them. And we have 333, potential. Your chance to reach your highest of potentials is here. Perseverance has gotten you to where you are. You have been through so much, and this guidance is here to show you that you are exactly where you need to be. My potential is infinite. I use my strength as my ally to pursue my highest good. Yeah, we need to think of things in terms of our higher spiritual good. You know, we often only think of our physical existence. You know, woe is me, this happened to me and it's not fair. Whereas if you look at it from the higher perspective, it's this had to happen to you, or for you rather, so that you could experience this pain, so that you could transmute that energy from pain into gratitude, pain into forgiveness, pain into love. And it's in that transmutation of energy that not only raises your personal vibration, but the vibration of the greater good, the greater whole. So that is the overall higher, greater good that comes out of this. And I know when you're going through grieving, you can't see anything good about it. Trust me, I know. You know, it doesn't feel like a good thing. How could it feel like a good thing? But, you know, for the higher good, this was meant to happen for this particular reason, and they're not gone. Just keep remembering they're not gone. They're still here. Look for the signs. And we have the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles indicates a change, and that's what this is. This is not a loss. You know, at the start we saw, you know, that you may have been in that lack mentality of this being a loss. It's not a loss, it's a change. You don't have to learn to live without them. You have to learn to adapt to be with them in a different way. You know, there's a lot of books out there on the subject and videos, and yeah, just keep talking to them every day like you used to do. And the more you acknowledge the signs and the more you are grateful for the signs, the more that they will give the signs. But if you are heavy and thick and grieving and blaming yourself and, oh, I never got to say I love them and they don't know how much they were loved. They do know how much they were loved. They can hear you. They can read your thoughts. State of denial. Yeah, you need to, so grief is a process, and you could be in the denial stage of the process of grief, which is really quite difficult to move out of. You know, how could this have happened? This can't have happened, or, you know, they didn't really die of that. It must have been something else, or, you know, it's really hard to wrap your head around certain things. But your pet is telling you, yeah, you need to work through it. Let yourself feel the feelings. Allow yourself to feel the feelings. Because the more you stay in that state of denial, the less that they're able to come through and give you those signs. So when you're in deep in grief and denial and guilt, it lowers your vibration, it lowers your frequency, and they are less able to come to you, because when they cross over, they're on an extremely high wavelength, an extremely high frequency. It's why we can't see them. And in order to connect with us, you need to be up here somewhere so they can meet you sort of halfway and connect with you. But if you're all the way down here in a state of denial and sadness and guilt, shame and all that sort of thing, then they can't get down there, they can't get to you. So, you know, the best thing to do is just to allow the feelings to come, no matter how painful they are. Let them come, acknowledge them, and let them pass by. Just imagine them like a cloud. The cloud comes into view, you acknowledge the cloud, and you let it drift past. You know, you may have a thought or a feeling about, why did I do that? Why did that happen? Acknowledge it, let it drift away. Or you may, you know, feel sad that it happened. I can't believe this happened. Acknowledge that feeling, let it drift past. That's how you get out of this state of denial. So if you chose the red fly agaric, we have worry. I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. And, you know, oftentimes when someone dies or a pet dies, our brain will go into this hyper mode of, what if I did this instead? What if I did that? What if I had done this and done that? And then, you know, you catch yourself doing it and it's like, you know what? Even if I could do that, I still can't bring them back. You know, it's not going to change the outcome. What's happened has happened, and that's like being in that state of denial as well. You know, you can't go back and fix it now. Unfortunately, you don't get a do-over. You have to learn to accept it. It's going to take a while. Grief usually takes about a year. The worst of it will take the first couple of months. But, yeah, the goal is to get to that state of acceptance, to get to that state of forgiveness for yourself and for others that may have been involved, like the vet or your partner, a family member, someone who opened the gate, whoever it was, you need to come to a state of forgiveness. More so for yourself than for anyone else. And then you need to get yourself to a state of gratitude. I'm grateful that they were a part of my life, instead of, I'm so sad that I lost them. I'm grateful that I got to have those years with my baby, instead of, I'm so sad that they died so young. One thing is for certain, though my life on earth is over, I am closer to you now than I ever was before. Yeah, they're with you all the time now. And, you know, yesterday I did a meditation. I have this table in the living room. I've got pictures and I've got an urn, and that's where I put her collar and leashes, and, you know, her toys are tucked away under the table, and just all her stuff is in the one place. And, you know, yesterday I lit some candles and lit some incense and was doing a bit of a meditation, and I could feel and see her energy around me, and it suddenly dawned on me. I remember thinking a while ago when she was still alive, are you here because you want to be here? Or if I opened the door, would you run away and never come back? You know, I used to wonder that because she was not an off-leash dog. I could never get her to be off-leash. And yeah, I remember thinking a short while ago before she died, I love you so much, but if I left the door open, would you just run away and never come back? Because she used to do that when she was a puppy. She would get out and, you know, just run for her life, and I'd have to chase her down. As she got older though, we live on the same street as the dog park, so she would just run down to the dog park and be easier to catch her, although I'd still have a heart attack every time because, you know, what if she got hit by a car in the meantime? But yeah, I remember thinking about that while I was doing the meditation yesterday, and then I realised she's here. You know, after she died, she's completely free. She has no locked door. She has no collar and leash on. She's a completely free entity now. But she chooses to stay with me. She chooses to be with me. She chooses to look in on me and give me signs. And for that, I am extremely grateful. So yeah, they are closer to you now than they ever were before. And they choose to be. It's a choice. If you're getting signs from your loved pet, then they're choosing to be with you. Isn't that special? 1, 2, 3, 4. Persistence. Keep going. You have completed a task that is in alignment with your soul's journey. The divine is letting you know that it sees you and that all of your persistence is paying off. You are being acknowledged. I take steps to stay in alignment with my soul's journey, and I reap the rewards for my persistence. So I feel like your pet is telling you that you're doing really well, you're doing something to help yourself, and they're really proud of you. Like, it could have been a goal that you were working on, could be something in your life. You could have signed up for a new course, or learnt about a new subject, or got into something really creative and fun, or, you know, whatever it is that you've done, you've ticked off a life goal, and they're telling you that they're really proud of you, and, you know, that they know it was hard for you to do this at this time. But they're watching you and they're really proud of you. And we have 8 of Wands. So 8 of Wands refers to communication. they are still trying to send you signs. They're still trying to talk to you in whatever way that they can, you know, by leaving you little signs here and there. You may get dreams, you may hear a distant jingle of their collar, or, you know, find an old toy of theirs lying around, or you may see their name somewhere. You may be walking down the street and you see their name on a sticker or a license plate, or you may hear it on the radio or something. These are all signs. Remember the love we share. Yeah. Whenever you're going through a hard time, they want you to remember that love that you shared together as a way to help you through the dark times. You know, for some of you, your pet was the only one that helped you through the hard times. They're wanting to tell you that they're still doing that. You know, they haven't left your side. They're still helping you through the hard times. And they want you to remember that love that you shared and that you still share. That will help you through the dark times. So if you chose the green mushroom in the middle, this one's for you. Growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. Yeah, so for some of you watching this today, you may be looking into how you can communicate with your pet on the other side, how you can raise your vibration, how you can expand your psychic attributes. And this is all about soul growth. I wish that I could tell you all the wonderful things that the universe has planned for you. Yeah, it can be hard while you're going through grieving, especially if this is recent, to think about, you know, the rest of your life, whether it's worth living or not. But they're telling you there is more to your story. You know, it's not over just because their body's gone. There is more to your story. There's going to be more fun times ahead for you. There's going to be more achievements. There's going to be more, you know, you're not always going to feel like this. There's going to be more. This is just something that you have to go through right now so that you can transmute that energy. 1212, duality. Within you are shadows of dark and beams of light. The divine is reminding you to embrace the duality that is your individual spark. The spark is being ignited and ready to illuminate the path ahead. I fully embrace who I am and allow change where it is needed. I trust the duality within me. So again, this comes back to, you know, that state of grief, of guilt, remorse. You know, did I spend enough time with them? Did I make the right end of life decisions? Did I make the right choices for them? Or, you know, maybe you're kicking yourself because they barked too many times and you used to yell at them every now and then. Or, you know, you didn't let them get on the couch because you had a brand new couch or something, or you know, whatever it is that you're kicking yourself over repeatedly. You have to embrace that you are human. And as a human, you are flawed. Yes, you make mistakes. You have a dark side and a light side too. Just like they did. They weren't perfect either. Remember, they did silly things too that, you know, they can look back on and say, oh, remember when I did that silly thing, or I behaved that way, or I chewed up the house, or I did this or did that, you know. They understand because they are the same as you. They had a dualistic side as well. 9 of Swords. So we can see here that this is about grief, about being stuck in thoughts, probably in thoughts of guilt and shame by the looks of things with these cards. And your pet is giving you permission to let it go, to forgive yourself for whatever it is, no matter how big it is. Forgive yourself. You are human. You are flawed. You know, there's a prayer that you can look up. It's called Ho'oponopono. And it's a Hawaiian prayer for forgiveness. It's a 4-line mantra. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And it's in this, if you repeat it over and over, if you play it so it gets into your subconscious, you will eventually forgive yourself and anyone else who is involved in these things. And once you do transmute that energy, because it's alchemy, it's alchemizing the energy, transmuting it, turning it around from guilt and shame into forgiveness and love. And that is a soul frequency level. And when you get into those soul frequency levels, I promise you that you will see more signs from your loved one. Confirmation. I was going to say something else, but it's come into my mind that you're going to get confirmation today. Whoever you are watching this and you've chosen the green mushroom in the center, you're probably sitting there saying, is it real though? Are they really still around? Are they really with me? You're going to get confirmation today. You're going to get confirmation within the next 12 to 24 hours that they really are there. And it's going to be quite big, I'm feeling. So, yeah. Keep your eyes out for that. Be hopeful for that. Be open to receiving it. And when you do, for the love of God, accept it and say thank you. So I'm going to leave that there, my lovely people, and I will see you next time. Bye.